Hello, I'm Morgan from Mirror Edge Networks here in Cape Town, and this is a detailed video overview of the installation of the equipment, being audio, video, network and Wi-Fi, into the equipment racks in this home server room behind me. Here in Cape Town, we refer to the equipment room as the home server room, where all of the equipment is located. I hope that you enjoy the description behind what we've done, how we've been able to do it, and the reasoning why. And this video is insightful for you to be able to learn more about what we do. To start with, our cabling installation is coming out of the wall over here. From this location, there are conduits running to every room of the house, be it our client's office, their master bedroom, outdoor audio for speakers, television points in the lounge, etc. The cabling comes into the wall over here, and from here we've installed cable tray where we route our cabling around the room. The reasoning behind doing this is that we can have our cabling neatly cable tied across the tray, and we can discern what cabling is going where. We have a color coordination that we use for all of our installations, and we stick to this quite strictly. This just means that any of our projects are very easy to identify. We're able to make sure that our installation in the room is accurate according to what our system design looks like, and any troubleshooting or add-ons and upgrades that we'd like to do at a later stage is very simple and straightforward. A description of what we're using these cabling for is as follows. Orange is the data cabling for any video devices. Yellow is the video distribution, which might be our DSTV, Doicom, Apple TV, or any other video source devices from in the server room going out to the TVs within the house. Pink is the control for devices in the house. Those are, in this instance, EA1 controllers at the TV points for being able to control the TVs, audio within the rooms, etc. The blue cabling is the Wi-Fi antennas. We have about 11 Wi-Fi antennas, both indoors and outdoors, to ensure that there's absolutely seamless Wi-Fi coverage throughout this entire property. Grey are general data cables, which might be computers, printers, or any other hardware that our client has brought onto the project, which we haven't supplied, where we refer to it as just a general data cable. We have a black cable which goes to a network switch which is installed inside the house. This is what we call an uplink to the network switch. At the bottom we have white speaker cables which go to in-ceiling speakers as well as outdoor speakers. At the very top of the rack we've got a white RG6 cable which is going into the Techno Gym equipment. This is a digital video broadcast DVB signal which is going from a modulator here out to there so that we can use the DSTV, Doicom and Apple TV on the treadmill. On the left-hand side of the room, we have a black RG6 cable, which is the Doicom and DSTV signal feeds coming from the roof. We also have a black outdoor-rated Cat6 cable, which goes to a wireless uplink on the roof. And lastly, we have a white fiber optic cable, which comes from the street fiber, which is our incoming internet, primary incoming internet for this project. For ease of use and cable management, we've brought our cables across from the wall into the top of the equipment racks and made sure that there's enough strain relief so that the cables are not being snagged or pulled unnecessarily down into the equipment rack. By doing this, it means that our cables have a better chance of long-term service for us. This is our primary equipment rack in the server room. I'm going to give a brief overview from top to bottom of the equipment that we've installed in here and the reasoning behind it. To start with, at the very top, we've got what we call a network-enabled PDU. This is a multi-plug, essentially, which has independent power outlets, which we can log into and remotely power cycle. This enables us to have better control over the power that's going to the different devices within the server rack. This also means that if there's a problem, we can log in and remotely power cycle a device and hopefully resolve any issues that might have from a power perspective. Beneath that we have our router. This is an Arachnus AN310 router, and the router has two incoming internet connections, being primary fiber and a secondarily failover, which is a wireless link from Vanilla here in Cape Town. A great solution for our client who's a business person that has to have internet connection to be able to contact their offices around the world. Beneath that we have what we call a patch panel. This is where all the cables from the cable tray terminate into. These cables are fixed in place where only our patch cables on the front can be removed. This is for longevity of the cable. If we just have the cables coming straight into the network switch, there's an opportunity for wear and tear on the cable. It's much easier to replace a tiny little short patch cable as opposed to trying to repair a cable that's fixed in place from the house. We have a secondary network patch panel beneath the network switch so that all of our cables can terminate into that. And obviously in the very center we've got a 48-port PoE network switch. This network switch has power on the network cables that can power devices like the Wi-Fi antennas, the Control 4 devices, and any other devices that need internet connections within the house. Down from that we've got a speak-on plate which will have the speaker connections for the house at a later stage. Then beneath that we have two Bang & Olufsen devices. These devices are the MasterLink NL-ML converter, which converts our client's CD player to be able to connect to the Bang & Olufsen televisions within the house. And beneath that we have what's called a Bang & Olufsen MasterLink gateway. The MasterLink gateway interfaces from the Control 4 system to the Bang & Olufsen equipment so that you only need to use a nice high quality Control 4 remote control for controlling the entire house. Beneath that we have the Beolink Active, which is the surround sound or the audio processor for the outdoor speakers. And at the very bottom of this rack we have a online UPS. The online UPS completely isolates the incoming power to the equipment room from the network equipment, because this guarantees us reliability of the network. There's always going to be power fluctuations, whether you have a generator, a battery backup system, or even just a reliable grid. By implementing an online UPS, we eliminate any potential issues with the incoming power. That's a brief summary of the first equipment rack within this server room. This rack on the right hand side is what we are referring to as the audio video rack. And similarly to the main core rack, we've got a network enabled PDU at the top of the rack. We've got the Control 4 EA3 controller, which is our main brain for the Control 4 system in this house. Then beneath that we have the two patch panels, similarly to the main rack, and a 16-port network switch in between. In this instance we've just used a non-PoE switch, as there's no devices in this rack that explicitly require PoE, so we've economized to make sure that we don't waste our clients' budget on extras that they don't require. Beneath that we have what's called a HDMI HD-based video matrix. The short summary of that is that all of the HDMI devices from the equipment rack plug into here, and from here one single yellow Cat6 cable goes out to every single TV point in the house, and you're able to have any of the sources on any of the TVs. We then have some HDMI sources. In this instance we have a DSTV decoder, a Doicom decoder, an Apple TV, and a Blu-ray player. Beneath that we have what's called an audio matrix. This takes the audio inputs from the Bang & Olufsen CD player and any of the video devices that are within this rack, and they split out the sound to be able to go to a multi-channel amplifier. The multi-channel amplifier is directly beneath the audio matrix, and this is the amplifier that powers the speakers that are within the house, be it in-ceiling speakers, outdoor speakers, floor-standing speakers, etc. And that's a short summary of what is going on in this audio-video equipment rack. So in summary, this is a brief video overview of this equipment rack. A couple of things which I haven't explicitly mentioned or noted is that in this instance we have a diesel generator with 100 kVA capacity as our failover incoming power should the client's battery backup system fail to provide enough power. They have a fairly large inverter system which has a solar system on the roof, which is the primary source of power for this house. So from that instance we have incoming power from the grid, the solar system, as well as a diesel generator. Obviously those all feed into the UPS which is in this rack, so that we can make sure that the power doesn't go off in this equipment rack at all. Beyond that, I've also briefly mentioned we have an incoming fiber internet connection from the street, but we also have a wireless uplink from Vanilla, which is pointed straight down to town, where there's a broadcast tower that Vanilla have, which comes up here onto the mountain. This is critically important for most of our clients these days to ensure that they're able to work from home at any point in time. With regards to equipment in the house, what I would love to be able to show you the rooms and the outdoor spaces within this property. Our client has an explicit request for no videos and no photographs from internally in their house, and of course we want to respect this. However, I can briefly touch on the fact that they do have multiple Bang & Olufsen televisions, speaker systems, as well as some Bang & Olufsen CD players within the house. The key for us was to be able to make sure that we could integrate all of the equipment that our client already had with the hardware that's behind us to make sure that the audio and video experience was seamless throughout the house. We've been able to achieve success with this, and our client is incredibly happy with the end result. So that's our video overview of the end of this project here in Oranjezicht, Cape Town. We've spent the last 18 months working through the entire process of this project, from as the foundations were cast through to having our conduits laid out by the electricians, and of course our cabling work that was done by our team. If you are looking for a solution like this, or if you'd like to have us carry out a network, Wi-Fi, audio and television installation for you, please feel free to get in contact. If you would like to see more videos like this of our work, which we're delivering for clients across the Greater Cape Town area, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're filming videos frequently of the projects that we've carried out over the last few years, and we'd love to be able to bring you along the journey so that you can see what we've been able to deliver for our clients.